My top 5 River Phoenix film performances. Number 1, I would say River Phoenix's number 1 performance would be as Mike in My Own Private Idaho. And he sort of throws himself into this role of sort of like a narcoleptic street hustler, and he's sort of like wounded, and he's just sort of like, it's all out there on the screen, and it's almost just like sort of like a fever dream of a performance. Ethan Hawke, sort of described it as like watching him light himself on fire for us, and it was just sort of a really deeply affecting performance, both for the audience and for him. It took him a long time to shake it off, and I think sort of changed who he was. The same year, River Phoenix made what I would consider his number 2 performance, which was Dogfight. He played Birdlace, this young man going into the Marines who spends the night walking around San Francisco with Lily Taylor. It's less flashy than a performance like My Own Private Idaho. That he's sort of like, he's rigid, he's making sure his hands aren't in his pockets, but he really ends up in a very carefully observed, fascinating place. And it's one that I could watch over and over and over. I would say River Phoenix's number 3 performance in my pantheon would be his work in Stand By Me. He was just a young teenager, and he's playing Chris Chambers, and sort of like the kid who goes out on a walkabout with Will Wheaton and his friends. It's in some ways, untutored. It's like a raw performance, but it's still, even at an early age, he was able to tap into something extraordinary. I would say my number 4 River Phoenix performance is his work in Running on Empty. He plays Danny Pope. He was nominated for an Academy Award for this. And I would say the 5th performance that I would hold up for River Phoenix would be his work in The Mosquito Coast, where he plays the son of Harrison Ford. You have a son who's sort of like figuring out that his father is not like who he thought he was. And you have River Phoenix figuring out that, like, hey, I've got some muscles as an actor, that, sort of like, I'm here and I'm sort of, in a supporting role, but the camera just naturally sort of finds him, and he discovers that he can do something wonderful.